How's it going out there in college football land? I'm going to send this live stream out to a few people real quick, get a few people up here in the house. Bear with me for just a second. Tag a few people real quick. And we'll talk about today's events. We had a lot of good upsets today, and Alabama looks like they may have finally got their shit together. We was calling Jalen Milroe and his little entourage with Malachi Moore and Tyler Booker and the rest of them was calling them the Cancer Five. Well, maybe the cancer is cured. Maybe they finally got their shit together. They heard all the backlash and decided, you know what? And as a matter of fact, they even said that in a SEC Now show on ESPN that after the Tennessee loss, they had a little soul searching. Started getting in the gym at 4:30 in the morning. Heard about the podcast and the videos out there calling them the Cancer Five. And, hey, I think we might have lit a fire under their ass. It just goes to show you that the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all the media talking heads, can get everybody fired up. So let me send this out real quick and get back with y'all. Also, Oklahoma played Missouri today, and I figured that, if they beat Missouri, that more than likely they'd put them in position to get at least a decent bowl bid. And they were unable to beat Mid-Pooh today. There was a lot of stuff that was Missouri sort of lucked out a little bit. Mid-Pooh, I got to say, they lucked out a little bit. Oklahoma basically gift wrapped this win for them. So, yeah, there's that. 4 turnovers by Oklahoma allowed Missouri to win that game. And a horrible fumble at the end of the game by Jackson Arnold. I actually got in an argument with some Oklahoma people out there, and because I said, Dylan Gabriel, and we can't. I know hindsight's 2020, but if Dylan Gabriel's still here, I still believe Oklahoma would probably be more competitive. And then they'll come back. Well, the Oklahoma offensive line is so bad that not even Dylan Gabriel could win games with this offensive line. Even Dylan Gabriel would be in the same situation. I think Dylan Gabriel would have probably lost some games. That is true. But Dylan Gabriel wouldn't have pulled the shit that Jackson Arnold did tonight. Yes, I know he's still a freshman or redshirt freshman or whatever he is, redshirt sophomore, whatever. But Dylan Gabriel would not have pulled that shit tonight. Y'all would have either not gotten field goal range and went to overtime, or you would have gotten field goal range, missed a field goal, and went into overtime, or y'all would have gotten field goal range and won the game if Dylan Gabriel had been the quarterback tonight. And the reason why I bring it up is because it pisses me off because I hear stuff all the time about how Dylan Gabriel was sort of encouraged to leave because if he hadn't, Jackson Arnold and his daddy was going to transfer somewhere else. Furnace Paradox is in the house. He says, I still don't trust Milroe. I'm with you on that, Furnace. I still don't trust Milroe either. I don't know if the cancer's cured for Alabama yet. LSU is very misleading to me. LSU is really not that good to me. I mean, they should have lost to South Carolina. The referees absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, screwed South Carolina out of that win. And LSU, more likely, probably should have lost to Ole Miss too. It's the Brian Kelly way. When he wins very shadily, and it's always a lot of luck involved. Now, I know there's a lot of luck involved in all of our wins from time to time, but it seems like Brian Kelly gets more of that than anybody else, and he's a piece of shit, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I hate to get on here and start cussing, but, yeah. Anyway, who else we got up in here? We got these tatted sailor who's also got his badge and he's deputized. He says, evening, man, I'd rather not talk about the shit show that happened in Missouri. Well, there's a lot of things that happened in Missouri that I'm questioning. I watched the last part of that game, and they should have played for overtime, especially if the offensive line is as bad as people claims it is. Oklahoma should have probably absolutely played for overtime in that game. But Brent Venables on the targeting at the end of the game. Yes, that was a targeting hit. wasn't even reviewed. Don't understand it. I think that was a targeting play to end the game. It could have absolutely helped Oklahoma get closer in position to maybe throw a more feasible Hail Mary pass into the end zone. And Brent Venables didn't throw a challenge out. Do they still allow coaches to throw challenges out? Because if they do, Brent Venables should have absolutely challenged that targeting, non-targeting call, in my opinion. By the way, Furnace Paradox, you also have a badge. You're deputized. You was gifted a outlaw posse memberships on the next podcast. I will introduce you to the posse, and we will deputize you, Furnace, on the next actual podcast that I do. This is a live stream, so Furnace Paradox is now in the outlaw posse. Hell, I guess we can deputize you right here, Furnace. But there's a lot to take from the Alabama game tonight. I think maybe they had the week off, and that helped them out a lot. They had a little bit of soul searching, and I think that the staff had a little bit of soul searching too, because they come out with it looked like a different, completely mindset. It looked like they were rushing on defensive side of the ball. It looks like they were actually blitzing a little bit more and being a little more aggressive, which is what I like. I don't want all out blitzed all the time, but you've got to throw some blitzes in there every now and then. Alabama looked like they were doing that much more often in this game than in previous games. I could be wrong. The offense seemed like it was more tailored to Jalen Milroe's strengths this time around. I think that they've been forcing the issue, and even Jalen Milroe, to his fault as well, has been forcing the issue of trying to be more of a pocket passer. And he's not a pocket passer, as we saw tonight. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I have the gander. I think he's probably got close or had more than or had close to 200 yards passing. 1989 M is in the house. OCF, I know your boys won and all, but I'll have you know that Travis Heisman Hunter is going to the NFL, and the Buffaloes are winning the Natty. Just an FYI. Roy Miller's in the house. Why in the Sam Hill hell did Joe Finley call a pass play when Jackson Arnold can't make a good pass, save his life? Our entire offensive staff is pathetic. So Roy Miller is not very keen on what the offensive staff is doing at Oklahoma. I'm going to take me a little bit of a shot real quick if y'all don't mind. If any of y'all want to be on the show right now, just let me know. I'll bring you in here. I'll be more than happy to bring you on the show. Just let me know. I'm going to invite a few people right now. We'll see if I can get them up in here so we can get some more varying opinions on what I've been seeing tonight in college football. By the way, the Georgia Hedge Pissers have finally lost a regular season game to someone other than Alabama. Congratulations to the Ole Miss Rebels, or as we like to call them here in Tuscaloosa, Ole Piss. All right, I'm going to send out a few invitations here real quick to a few people that might want to be on the show. Trying to remember. Let's see. That's not it. I'll do that later. All right. Yep. All right. Sigmund's in the house. Roll Tide, brother. Roll Tide to you. Big win tonight for Alabama. I'm glad that finally LSU showed us they are who we thought they were. As the great Dennis Green once said, LSU is who we thought they were. A lucky-ass team that has been living on the edge all season. Hell, they lost to USC. And I like LSU. I know a lot of good LSU people, like my boy there, No Cajones Kelly. I don't know if he's in the house tonight, but if he is, maybe he can come and be on the show. Who knows? Fred Bagley's in the house. The Hedge Pissers pissed down their leg today. Anybody want to be on the show right now? Give me a little bit of a break so I can take a few shots. Woo! That's some kick to it right there, boy. Storm 4601's in the house. Storm 4601 has his badge. He's deputized as a center. I'm sick of watching this team this year. Good luck to Bama. I appreciate that. But just so y'all not down the dumps too badly, if y'all can just get the turnovers correct, y'all probably win that game easily tonight. But the turnovers are there, so they were there. You got to deal with them. But LSU is not a great team. They're not. Those two lucky wins they got over South Carolina and Ole Miss were shown tonight as why they were lucky. LSU's problem is they keep hiring these coaches without a moral compass that are shady, and they win a lot of games, but in the end, they end up not being a championship style coach. They get you in trouble behind the scenes, and stuff off the field percolates, becomes a distraction, and they end up going down the tubes. Just like Urban Meyer. People talking about hiring Urban Meyer. I heard some Oklahoma people talking about hiring Urban Meyer. Y'all don't do that shit. Do not hire Urban Meyer. Don't do it, man. Just don't. I'm telling you. It might be good for a couple of years, but down the road, Urban Meyer always shits the bed. He'll come up with some Fred Sanford fake-ass heart attack and say he's got to go off and be more attentive to his daughter's aspiring volleyball career over in Bosnia, wherever it is she's playing volleyball these days. And he's a liar, and he hires people that are liars and people that are shady. Don't hire Urban Meyer. Sigma says, crying Kelly. Is he crying? Wouldn't surprise me. Brian Kelly's a piece of shit, man. He just might have to quit cussing. But, yeah. Brian Kelly, he's just not that great, man. He's not as great as people think. Now, I would like to touch on something with Missouri. If there's any Missouri fans out there watching and listening, please tell me why Eli Drinkwitz said what he said. Hold up. I might have y'all guests to come on here in just a second. Let's see what we got here. All right. I'm going to send this to Johnny Johns. Johnny Johns' brother, Derek, says he might want to be on the show. GOH. Guitars. All right. Let's invite him in here real quick. But y'all tell me, what was your takes from today's games? What was your biggest takeaway from today's games? Just curious. Because looked like somebody lit a fire under Alabama. I think they've seen a lot of these videos that's been made about them being the Cancer 5, and they decided to not be so cancerous anymore. People's probably coming to me now and saying, hey, don't you think you owe them an apology? I'm like, no. Alabama fans do not owe Jalen Milroe and any of his little entourage an apology. As a matter of fact, y'all might want to thank us for lighting a fire under your ass, because if we hadn't been bitching at you and raising hell and letting you know it's not okay just to rest on your laurels and your little NIL money, you probably wouldn't have been so fired up to prove yourself tonight in Baton Rouge. So, yeah, I'm not apologizing for that at all. Matter of fact, y'all owed us an apology. And tonight, Alabama beating LSU the way they did was Jalen Milroe and the Cancer 5's apology to Alabama fans for basically looking like a Bush League team against Vanderbilt and then barely getting by South Carolina the following week. Yeah, man, I'm trying to get you on here, Derek, but your damn screen name is so long and crazy, man. I'm having a little issue, like a little typo situation here. Why y'all gotta have these long ass emails, man? I don't mind me some people that want to have these crazy ass names, man. Instead of just having a normal name, man, they sent you an invite, Derek. I don't even see you commenting in the comment section here, but yeah, I just sent you an invite, Derek. What is really disturbing? DeMarco Murray can't see Xavier Robinson is his best back by far, says Storm 4601. I didn't watch the entire game tonight. I was busy watching my team, Alabama, so I have to take your word for it. I have heard from a lot of people that Xavier Robinson was he sort of stood out tonight as in a good way. So yeah. And like Fred Bagley said, if y'all don't mind, jump out and hit the like button. Let's get this party started. This is our version of Saturday Night Live back in the day, you know, when they come on. This is Saturday Night Live, college football version. Now, hell, if you want to talk about some politics, I'll talk about that too. If you unsubscribe to my channel, well, you can KMCA. And for those of y'all that don't know what that acronym means, it means kiss my country ass. But back to what I was talking about. Let's wait to see if Derek can bring his mealy mouth up in here. See what he's got to say. I'm just playing, Derek. At least I think that's how you say the name, right? And here is Derek. Derek's in the house. Derek is.
Hey, there we go. I can hear you.
He's in that group, the best damn Van Halen cover band of all time, Next Halen.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's definitely playing in the band's a lot funner than watching my Sooners today. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions in that game. A lot of questions. Now, there's one question I would like to ask Missouri fans real quick before I let you give your take on exactly what you think Oklahoma needs to do going forward in the future. Eli Drinkwitz, man, I used to think he was okay, man. I think he's a little delusional, man. I think something's wrong with him. I think he might have a touch of something going on. I'm not sure what it is, but they asked him after the game. They asked him some question, and he just didn't even answer. He said, "Blah blah blah. We're in position to be back in the playoffs." And I'm like, Eli, y'all not getting in the playoffs, man. Y'all lost to Alabama 34-0, and you lost to Texas A&M 41-10. Man, it ain't like you lost two close games. You look like a Bush League team, and you beat up on an Oklahoma team that's basically just as decimated by injury as you are. Eli Drinkwitz, man, I don't know, man. What do you think about Eli? You think he's a jackass? I think he is.
Man, it's really easy to beat my Sooners this year, man. I don't know if it's anything to brag about, really. It was so bad, man. It's so many turnovers. It really actually was so impressive, like how close the game was with that many turnovers. Like we were still in it, and then Jackson Arnold drops the ball on the ground again, and just gives the game away. Like to me, I think we're beating ourselves, and yeah, we like have to get over beating ourselves, and then we can think about beating the other team. It feels like it's just
y'all sort of gift wrapped that shit for him today, didn't you?
And then we had it in the bag at the end. There was some magic there. Like, what was it? It was a scoop and score. And then it was a pass to Jackson Arnold. And then seemed like he redeemed himself, ran in a touchdown. And then, then the very next, I think it was like 2 minutes left. We had it ready to win, man. All we got to do is just keep the ball away. And then couldn't do it. He dropped the ball on the ground. And we just can't. It's like winning is illegal or something. It's just the craziest thing. As
do you think that Do you think that maybe because y'all have been telling me all year that you got offensive line problems. I don't know if it's injury issues or if it's because they're just not doing the job, but with the kind of offensive line issues that y'all have, maybe y'all should have played for the overtime in that situation instead of trying to get in field goal range. I don't know. What do you think?
well, I think we could have. Man, it's just there's a lot of things we could have done, but the O line, I really think, is the root of all the problems. Like, I think if your quarterback is having to run for his life every single time the ball is snapped, he's going to lose the ball a few times at least. And there's just nobody to throw to because we got all them wide receivers out, and it's just not a recipe to win. It's like a total disaster, man. But I think it starts with the O line, and I don't know what the problem is. I really don't. I know we got some dudes coming in next year in the recruiting class that could definitely help, and we lost a lot of guys that were like really awesome last year. Like that game winning play from last year. Uh, I think it was Walter Rouse. He was blocking two Texas dudes while Dylan Gabriel threw that pass to Nick Anderson to win the game. And I know we lost some dudes on that offensive line, and I'm not sure if any of them returned, or maybe they're hurt if we do have them. And man, I don't know. Our offensive line coach is Bill Beedenbow, and I've loved him for many years, but I'm starting to like kind of doubt him now after this season. But it is kind of a weird season. Like, we lost dudes, we got dudes coming in next year that will help, and it's just like not a good offensive line group right now.
So let me ask you this, sort of off the subject of Oklahoma for a second.
Yeah.
I saw that Georgia got upset today by Ole Miss, and it wasn't even close. All year long, this has been happening, man. Teams will beat teams, and then the team that beat that team will beat that team when they couldn't beat the other team, but they can beat that team that beat that team. I know it sounds a little convoluted, but it's just like, South Carolina beat the shit out of Kentucky, right? And then they turn around and lost to Ole Miss, and they lost to Ole Miss by a lot. And then Ole Miss turned around and lost to Kentucky, who lost to South Carolina by a lot. You see what I'm saying?
It doesn't make any sense this year.
The SEC, it's hard to bet on games this year for sure. The SEC, it looks like that maybe everybody might have two losses at some point in conference if this keeps up.
I think so, man.
Where do you see the conference going? I mean, what do you see in the future for the conference? Who do you think is going to be there in the SEC title game?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I do see it like everybody having two losses. It's possible. I think actually the last video we made, I even said, you're not going to like it, but my logic is that because it makes no sense. I could see OU coming out and beating Alabama because it makes no sense at all. Like, we should get our butts handed to us, sir. And that's the only reason why I'd ever say that. This season hasn't made any sense, man. Teams that should win, they're just not winning, and then the team that should never lose, they're losing to teams that should never beat them. Well, I really couldn't. I didn't call that one today.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
Beating Georgia, that's crazy.
I don't. At this point, earlier in the season, when the season first started, I thought we might have a chance of losing to Oklahoma. I don't think we will now. Just to be honest with you, full disclosure.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I do want to go to the game, though. Are you still going to go to that one?
Do not think that Oklahoma doesn't have a win left in them this year, because I'm telling you, man, and I've been telling people this all year, LSU's a farce, man. They lost to USC, man, and USC like 4-5, right? And they basically, them and the referees ripped off South Carolina. South Carolina should have won that game by about 17, and then they got lucky again against Ole Miss, but that shit ran out tonight. We saw exactly who they were tonight without the look. And that game that y'all playing against LSU is in Baton Rouge, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we got Bama at home.
Man. I think y'all can beat LSU with the right circumstances.
Hey, are you gonna come to Oklahoma for the Alabama game, or were you able to score any tickets?
No,
I still want to go to it because I like Alabama too.
I live in Tuscaloosa, so the odds of me coming up there are very slim to none unless someone gives me tickets, because that's a long ways to drive. I don't fly.
Yeah, it is a long drive.
I don't fly. I just drive. I don't like flying, so.
Yeah, me either, man. I don't like. I'm not a flyer, but But I still plan on going to the game because I watch Alabama too, just like my brother Johnny. We have some family here that they're Alabama fans, so I follow them. I'm sure I'm going to go there and see my Sooners get their butts kicked, but it's still cool. Like this, it would be cool to see Alabama like there, Norman. I don't know when or if that's ever happened. Or I think it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. I think my brother Johnny went to the last game where Alabama was in Norman.
Now we've only played Norman once. We've never won in Norman, so we need to check that box.
Man, this is the year to do it. Yeah,
Right.
you should
Let me ask you,
be able to.
what is Brent Venables? What's his future in Oklahoma? Do you think if he goes 5-7 this year, if he looks really bad in these last two games, do you think they might fire him?
So yeah, we were all just talking about this earlier. I'm thinking if we are not bowl eligible, then he's probably gone. But if we do become bowl eligible, they probably keep him around for a year because there was like an extension uh, before the season, and I can't remember how many years it is. So it's like we're already paying for him, and to me, it's all on the offensive side, and it was just a really bad hire picking Seth Luttrell at the beginning. Like
Yeah,
that's
the whole thing
that's
seemed
got to
like
be the
I
worst.
got this little sticker right here. I don't know if you see it or not. Let me see if I can
Oh,
get it up there right. I can't get it up there right. I'm trying to see it real quick. See, I'm very uncoordinated. It says I voted. I promised
oh,
to do something. Once Trump won us, I promised to do something. Didn't get a chance to do it last week, but I promised to do this for Sigma. I'm peeling this sticker for you, Sigma, because it just says
there it
something about
is.
Trump winning. There's Trump and Vance right there. I peeled the sticker. I was afraid they were going to make some shenanigans and mess with the votes and all that stuff like I did last time. But there it is.
Yeah, that fire. There was those ballots got burnt.
Yeah, well, I
Can't
mean,
remember where that was.
last election
And
against Biden, man, he got like 81 million votes, and all of a sudden, 20 million votes just disappeared this time around because people were watching, and they weren't hiding behind COVID, and they couldn't throw a bunch of dead people's ballots in the boxes and all that shit. People were actually watching the polls and regulating them a lot better this time around, and you suddenly lose 20 million votes. Ain't that something?
man, I know. I really am glad he won, dude. Like it's crazy. I used to hate Trump, dude. I couldn't stand him, but I'm still learning. I'm like 30. What am I? 35. Still learning, and I had to like learn that we need a strong dude in the White House. You can't have a little old frail guy that can barely talk. No one's scared of that. Like, we, yeah, we got to be strong, man. We need somebody like Trump because people are scared of him. Putin,
Well, I mean, you saw that
China, they're
Hamas
scared of him, and
Hamas
that's what we need.
Hamas has already asked for a resolution now. Hamas has already asked for truce, and
See? Yeah,
Trump said that when he got in office that Hamas would back off, and he wasn't lying. And all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah. See?
Putin and Ukraine are talking about ending that war. I wonder why. And then you got the new Mexican president. She's some
Yeah.
female. I can't remember her name. She's suddenly stopping the caravans from coming to the border because Trump told her, if you don't stop that shit, we're going to put a 25% tariff on your shit coming in. And when you start talking that kind of stuff to people, they'll start doing what you want them to do. And that's what Biden and Fraud Mala was afraid to do. So,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
that's our political rant for the day, right?
yeah. I could go more, but yeah. We can talk football, man. It's if we want to. It's up to you.
Hey, Arizona. Hey, man, why don't you develop a little bit better vocabulary, brother? And you sort of sound like Kamala over there with the word salad and the parrot. She's like a constipated parrot, man. And anyone that voted for her is probably just as constipated as she is. Yeah. So Trump is 78 years old. Okay, and he talks a lot
Yeah.
better and speaks a lot better than Biden, who's been on the shelf with dementia for the last 4 years.
Trump's
Basically,
78.
yeah.
Wow,
But
he don't seem like it.
yeah, and he's not a Nazi. The only people that are Nazis are the ones that saying it. People like you, Arizona. You got a good name, by the way, Arizona Sun Salad, because you like word salad. You saying shit that absolutely don't make any sense or has no basis. As a matter of fact, Arizona, your man Joe Biden was seen numerous times at rallies and events promoting Robert Byrd, who is a KKK leader. So, what do you say to that, Arizona? What do you say to your man Biden being a supporter of the KKK? And it's out there, it's on video, and it's just out there everywhere, man. Y'all say stuff like this about him being a Nazi because y'all have nothing else. Nothing else. And when you do that, you insult Jews whose families went through that shit, and you desensitize the whole thing because y'all are cowards, and that's the only way y'all can get up on somebody.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It done got me riled up, man.
there's a lot of propaganda where they'll take like small little sound bites of something somebody said and then twist it around with no context to fit a narrative. It's just classic propaganda, man. And yeah, they've been trying to make Trump look really bad for a long time, but I really think we're heading in a good direction now. And I think when he was the president, he didn't have as much pull or power like in the House and the Senate, but he can actually, make some good changes now. Like, I think he's got enough votes behind everything to do the things that we need to do to bring America back, where we're, still making cars in America and tools in America and stuff.
All right, we just banned
Yeah.
Arizona. I went ahead and kicked him around like a damn mutt for a little while. So I had my feel of that shit. I ain't listening no more of it. But who else
But
was
man, I,
who else
I
was
miss that.
any other big upsets today that you remember? I'm trying to remember right off the top of my head. Um,
Man, the first games, Ohio State played Purdue, and then yeah, smoked them, and then Texas. Who did they?
they
Those
played
first
Florida.
games this morning were blowouts, so I kind of stopped watching them. But then the Alabama game was on at the same time as my OU game, so I missed the entire Alabama game, and I feel like I wasted my time watching this OU game today. I wish I would have watched the Alabama
Well,
game.
Miami did get upset today. Miami's been living on the edge for the past few weeks. Anyway, they got that Hail Mary catch that Virginia Tech made overturned, and then they had to come back from 25 points down to beat somebody the other day. I think it was California a few weeks back. They were down by 25, and then they pulled out. They were down by double digits to Duke, and it finally caught up with them today. Georgia Tech beat them in Atlanta, so the ACC is now in disarray. SMU is on top of the ACC.
Wow,
So we could see
man.
SMU in the playoffs. I mean, this is like 1984 has came back to us. 1984 is when BYU won a national championship. Now BYU is undefeated, although they're losing to Utah right now. Then you had Alabama lose to Vanderbilt in 1984. So it's just like a bunch of stuff that happened in 1984 is coming back to now. It's like Marty and Doc got in the DeLorean and went back to 1984 and brought that shit here.
There's the Van Halen album, 1984. There's so many like things that happened in
Yep.
1984, actually.
And now we got next Halen.
Yeah.
By the way, when do y'all play again?
Oh man. I'm actually not sure. I'm trying to remember here. I think we might maybe be working on something for New Year's, maybe. Uh, Something soon. We usually kind of take a break during the winter time. I think there is a show coming up, but I can't remember. I need to put it in the calendar. But it was a fun show last weekend here in Shawnee. Yeah, at the Ritz Theater. Had my little nephew Johnny Johns come up and play the drums. Man, he's getting better
So
every
Johnny
day I see
Johns
him.
is like a legacy name in your family, right?
Yeah, my grandpa's name is Johnny Johns, and then my brother's name is Johnny Johns, and then my brother Johnny named his son Johnny Johns.
So is he
So
Johnny Johns the third or is he Johnny Johns the fourth?
oh man, I think he's the third, but now I'm trying to think. I know my grandpa, his dad's name was a different name. Uh, I'll just say the third. Yeah, he's the third for sure. The
Tatted
Little
Santa
Woods.
says it seems like all you libtards hang on to is the tariffs and this Project 25 crap. Yeah, Tatted Saddle, they don't have much else to do but just go with the lies. And if they had a valid point, I would let them sit there and debate. But if you're going to come in here and just tell lies and throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks, then I'm not going to let you stay for long. I might kick you around for a little bit like I did him, but then after a while I get bored with you and your little 5 minutes of fame are up. Sometimes I get on these
Yeah,
political tangents, man. I have to apologize.
I'm here with you, man. I'll cater to it.
Strong
I
man
haven't
is
really.
always to be hated by the weak ones, says Sigma. Yeah, another bunch of beta males, sort of like Mike Gundy. Um, Oklahoma State got the shit beat out of them today, didn't they?
Man, I didn't watch that one, but I kind of stopped watching a few games ago because
I
like
think
that team
I think they got the hell beat out of them today.
probably that last one I watched, that team just looked like they didn't even want to be on the field, and I was like, dude, what's up with this team? Like they just it was like they were just ready for the clock to hit zero and go back home. But yeah, I'm not surprised, and it's disappointing too. We got a lot of family and friends that are OSU fans, and I don't know what happened.
Well, I tell you what, I haven't really got an issue with Oklahoma State fans. They think I do, but I don't. My problem was Mike Gundy, man. He's a farce. He's a fake.
Man, he has some good sound bites sometimes, man. I think it was the other day was the anniversary of the I'm a man, I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm 54. However old he is now. He's gonna be
Oh
I'm a
yeah,
man. He's
man.
gonna be I'm a man. I'm unemployed if he keeps running his mouth, talking
Yeah.
shit about the fans and saying that they only talking bad about him because they can't pay their bills and they don't have a job. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? These people that are taking shots at you have jobs, have houses, have homes, have cars, have paid their bills. What are you talking about, Mike? He's just like these libtards, man.
Oh
Indiana, by
yeah.
the way, Indiana's still undefeated. They're 10-0. They beat Michigan today. It's Indiana's first ever 10-win season in over 100 years of football.
Man, that reminds me, my brother Johnny, he wasn't able to get on here. He's been up since like 4 a.m. Uh oh wait, yeah, now yesterday. Yeah, he's been up too long, but he has been really digging the Indiana coaching staff. And I think I'm on board with his idea. He's thinking if, like, I guess after the playoffs, we'll see how it goes. But if we are going to hire anybody at OU, the Indiana coaches, man, it seemed like that could be a
Looks like
great
con
fit.
time Deion Sanders won again. I'll put my con time glasses on real quick. Um, Seems like he won today again. He beat Texas Tech. Con time is now 7-2. But let me point something out to all the con time fans out there. They got a much easier schedule this year. The Big 12 is a lot weaker this year, especially with Oklahoma and Texas gone. So yeah, con time may win 8 or 9 games this year, but if he, I doubt Colorado gets in the playoffs unless they win the Big 12, which they'll get an automatic bid if they do that. But if he does somehow slip into the playoffs, it's going to be embarrassing for him. I really believe they'll get the shit beat out of them by a good team. They haven't played a real good team yet.
Who is at the top of the Big 12 right now in the standings? Or
Right now it's BYU,
BYU?
but
That's right, yeah.
right now BYU. Last I checked, BYU was down in Utah 21-13. Fred Bagley said Oklahoma State, that being Okie Pokey Chokey State, got smoked today. Yeah, I thought they got beat pretty bad. Who they lose to? Can't remember.
Don't spoil my
Oh,
heart, my
it was,
okey pokey heart.
that's right. And then Iowa State got beat by Kansas. So Iowa State's moving on down.
Dang, yeah, I did catch the end of that one. Yeah, forgot about that. Man, the season's crazy, really. It's there ain't really any safe bets.
I just hope that Colorado loses at least one more game because I don't want to hear the crap, man, from these people that got their head so far up con time Deion Sanders' ass, man. It's just crazy, man. He's really not a good coach, man. He's really not.
Man, I actually had a good question. Who is the bigger like fraud, Lincoln Riley or Deion Sanders? And I think you would have to say Deion because at least Lincoln Riley won a Heisman Trophy for USC.
Yeah, well, they're trying to push Travis Hunter hard for that trophy.
Man, uh, I, I wouldn't like hate it. He is pretty talented, but
I
I
think
think
I think
also
they overuse him a little bit. He's not. They're going. I'm afraid they're going to end up getting him injured or something.
I'm surprised he's actually been going this long. I figured he would get injured. Well, it is Big 12 over there. He's still getting hurt though, man. We've had people get hurt over there.
South Carolina beat Vanderbilt 28-7. So that's what I'm talking about right there. See, Alabama beat
Right.
South Carolina. Alabama
Yeah,
beat South Carolina, but we couldn't beat Vanderbilt. But South Carolina beat Vanderbilt, who beat us.
makes no sense. Uh, that's how this season's been going. Yeah, I haven't bet any money yet, but I'm sure if I did, I'm gonna lose. It's just so hard to pick a winner, like a for sure guaranteed winner right now. Anybody
I
can
know
lose.
Brian Kelly's record is really good right now, but he can't win championships, man. He hasn't been able to win the SEC championship, which means he ain't been able to win a national title. Um, as much money as he's being paid, if he doesn't make it to the playoffs this year, do you think his job's in jeopardy, Brian Kelly, or you think he's got a couple more years?
Oh man, I don't know.
By the way, Oklahoma State lost to TCU 38-13, and TCU 6-4.
Dang, holy crap,
Oklahoma State's 3-7 now. Do you think there's
man!
any chance that Mike Gundy gets fired especially after the insensitive comments he made?
I don't know because he's been there for so long, and there's been a bunch of years where he probably should have been fired. I don't know. I really don't. I haven't really kept up with the whole OSU thing a whole lot, but I know it sucks like having a talent like Ollie Gordon just go to waste like that. Like I know he's a really awesome player, and I feel bad for him more than probably anything. But man, I don't know. Mike Gundy's been there for so long. They would probably like give him another year. I'm guessing, but I don't know.
It would be something, though, if Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both fired their coaches this year, same year.
It's possible. It's possible. I think if we are not bowl eligible, like if we can't manage to beat LSU, it could happen. And it sucks because like I love Brent Venables' defense, but he has this guy that's been running the defense, Zach Alley, and everybody says he's like a clone of Brent Venables. So if we did fire Brent Venables, I think we must keep Zach Alley and then find the rest of the like the rest of the
You
coaches.
said your brother would like to go after Kurt Signetti of Indiana. Don't you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't remember if I said that, but yeah, Johnny. Yeah, he has me on this the train now of hiring the Indiana coaches after this season. But I want to see how everything plays out in the playoffs, and see who makes it to the top, and then kind of see who we can hire based off of I guess the budget, whatever budget that we have to hire somebody huge.
What
But
about the guy at Kansas State, Chris Kleiman?
for OU.
Yeah,
Man, anything has got to be better than what we have right now, really.
I think Chris
Uh,
Kleiman is vastly underrated. People don't pay attention enough to Chris Kleiman. I think he's done a good job following a legend in Bill Snyder at Kansas State. He's done a really good job.
yeah, Yeah, man. When did he start coaching over there? Because it seemed like Bill Snyder had just retired like last year, but I think it's been a
It's
couple
been about
years.
it's been about 5 or 6 years he's been there.
Dang, man, the years are flying.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Years just fly by, man.
Man, a coach I would love to get is it's the Sun Devils coach. There's this man, who did they beat? They upset somebody and everybody stormed the field and the coach went out there on the field like with thousands of people and the interviewer, the person comes up with the microphone and he has the security around him, but surrounded by thousands of fans that stormed the field. And they said, "Hey, coach, like, how you feeling?" He said, I'm like one of these guys," and then he like does like a stage dive into the crowd, and they lose him for a few seconds, and then he comes swimming back. He was out there partying with all of the people, but I think he's locked though to that college because he was that's where he graduated from, and he just loves it. So it's going to take a lot of money to steal that guy, but he's one of the more entertaining coaches I've seen that I would like to steal, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Uh, Man, I think my brother was on to something with the Indiana coaches. He was mentioning earlier that a couple of them came from James Madison, where they're just good coaches basically. Like they don't have a whole lot, like they don't have the best to work with, but they just make really solid football teams.
The
Where
only right wing Ducks and the guy that you're talking about is Ken Dillingham. That's the
yeah,
guy.
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Oregon, I think they pretty much handled Maryland today. Oregon started off
Mm.
slow. They barely beat Idaho, and they barely beat Boise State. But Boise State looks like they're going to be the G5 entry at the 12th spot. So that's not a bad lot. That's not a bad win at this point. The Idaho thing still don't look good, but it just seems like Oregon's the number one team, but like nobody's really giving them any respect. What do you think about Oregon?
Um, I wish Dylan Gabriel was still at OU, but no, but man, he might win the Heisman. Man, that'll be like two back-to-back quarterbacks that left OU and then wins a Heisman if it happens. Then that's why I feel like it's probably going to
I
happen.
didn't think about that. You're right. Married Caleb Williams fingernails
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
USC and won the Heisman Trophy. Oregon, yeah, that's another thing, man. People were saying that Dylan Gabriel would have, basically had the same issues as Jackson Arnold is having, and
I
yeah,
was thinking about
probably
that.
wouldn't have won as many games at Oklahoma as he has at Oregon. But I think that Dylan Gabriel would have, probably give y'all a better chance of beating Tennessee. Would have been more competitive against Texas. And tonight, Dylan Gabriel, I don't care how bad your offensive line is, Dylan Gabriel would not have pulled the shit that Jackson Arnold did at the end of the game. I
Okay, tonight,
don't see Dylan
definitely,
Gabriel doing
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't think you would have, but I do agree that with the current offensive line, because Dylan Gabriel did have different dudes blocking him for us last year, and we don't have them guys, or they're hurt, or like playing injured, and it really shows. So I don't really know, man. Uh, he may have done just as good, but not as many turnovers. Whoa, that was the difference tonight, though. So yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Plus, he's just much more experienced than Jackson. It probably would have been a good thing for Jackson to sit there and get another year of tutelage and get his feet wet a little bit than to come in right now this year and be thrown into the fire in the first year in the SEC. That's a tall order, man.
It is, man. That's why I'm cutting some slack. I still like both of our quarterbacks, Jackson and Michael Hawkins. I don't think it's their fault for a lot of the stuff except for the turnovers. That's totally their fault. But whenever you're having to run for your life every single play, like you're gonna get sacked or drop the ball or like I think that last one he was trying to throw it to somebody and then yeah, just
Dan,
totally
Danny
gave it to him.
Danny Drew says Oregon has got Uncle Phil money.
Mhm.
Yeah, Oregon does got Uncle Phil money. But there's a lot of programs out there that's got big time money. I mean, Oklahoma State used to have what's his name? Who's
Oh
that
yeah,
guy?
Boot
Boone
Pickens.
Pickens. Yeah, yeah, Boone Pickens.
Yeah,
Arkansas has got the Walton family, and Alabama's got the Bryants, Bear Bryant. You know, his son's involved with a lot of casino ownership and banks and that kind of shit. Um, so Alabama's got we got mafia money coming in here, but a lot of these programs have big money. Texas has big money, and they still have yet to win a national championship. So big money don't always mean that you're going to win. Texas A&M spent a shitload of money on a number one recruiting class, and it did nothing for them except get their coach fired and make them pay a $75 million buyout. So it's more than just money to it, but I would like to see
yes,
Oregon break through. Oregon's been right there on the cusp. They sort of remind me of the Miami Hurricanes back in the day in the 1980s when they had never won a national title, and then they won one, and it was just like the floodgates opened, and they started winning multiple titles. I think if Oregon could win one national title, they could be in the conversation to maybe be a blue blood in the future.
yeah. It does seem like they are they have been very close, like so many years, and this could be the year. Yeah, that'd be cool. And yeah, earlier what you were saying, yeah, money don't just like win you national titles. You can't just plop all the money there and be like, all right, we're winners. You still gotta have good coaches and stuff. Uh,
You got to have
people
guys
that
that know how to develop
develop.
players. You can get
Yeah, yeah,
five-star players in there like Texas has done for decades, but if you
yep,
don't have someone that knows how to develop the players, then it's not going to equal. It's not going to equal wins. Not
right,
well, it might get you some wins, but it ain't going to get you championships.
yep, yeah. But it does look like Texas has turned a page. I really don't know what they changed, but they're looking pretty good. I mean, I don't like Texas. Horns down.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Texas, they're patting themselves on the back today because they blew Florida out, but Florida's down to the third string quarterback. They've got multiple injuries themselves. So I wouldn't be so quick to pat myself on the back, Texas. As a matter of
Well,
fact, don't be surprised if Texas doesn't struggle with Kentucky. Kentucky almost beat Georgia, and
yeah,
Kentucky beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss, which Georgia
yeah,
couldn't do.
yeah.
That crazy shit you was talking about. Kentucky could beat
I'm,
Texas if they're not banged up. I don't know their injury situation. The injury situation is what really it's a deal breaker most of the time. And for Florida, it's a deal breaker. It was a deal breaker today.
yeah, I haven't forgotten that Kentucky almost beat Georgia, and yeah, Kentucky. I'm glad that we didn't have to play them because yeah, they would probably curb stomp us. That could be a time where man, they could
Well,
beat Texas.
it's
They
weird
could.
because Kentucky got blowed out by Florida. Florida scored 48 points on them, but they shut down
Yes,
everybody else.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that's why I said it wouldn't be surprised me if Kentucky beats Texas.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the Longhorns might be in trouble when they go to College Station. Texas A&M ain't played them in 10 years or 11 years,
Oh
probably
man.
12
Yeah,
years, 12 years or so.
it's
And
gonna be a
they've
good one.
been talking shit to each other for almost 12 years without being able to solve it on the field. And
Yep.
Texas A&M did not want Texas in this conference. When they joined this conference, that was one of their things. It's like, if we join, y'all can't invite any more Texas teams. And our new commissioner basically said, hey, I didn't make that deal, so we're going to have Texas whether you like it or not. And Texas A&M didn't fight it, but I think the SEC done them wrong. I don't have a problem with Oklahoma coming in, but Texas has always been a cancer. They destroyed the Southwest Conference, and they come in, they try to do the same thing with Big 12, and they almost did.
Man, that's gonna be a good game. I think there's gonna be a lot of passion and probably gonna be a scrappy game. Because yeah, man, the Texas and Texas A&M hate has been going on for like so long. I think that is one that I'm looking forward to. I'll watch that one for sure just to see what happens. But I think it'll end up being a good game because it's like I'm trying to remember. Did they used to be rivals back in the other conference? And then, yeah, was it the original? I see, man, this is where my brother, he's the encyclopedia on this stuff. But I think that Texas A&M and Texas used to be rivals at some point, and
Yeah,
then
Texas A&M and
Texas A&M,
Texas and Texas A&M have always been rivals, but
they
it's
haven't
like
got to play
it's like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
right
Texas
now. Yeah.
Texas owns Texas A&M. It's like 70 something to 17 or something.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
even close. All the games are usually close. It's sort of weird because I mean when you think of the games, they're usually close, but it's like Texas finds a way to come out on top every time for some reason. But yeah, they used to be in the same conference in the Southwest Conference, and Oklahoma was in the Big Eight, and then
That's it. Yeah.
The Big Eight and the Southwest merged, and the Big Eight took the best four teams from the Southwest, and the Southwest disbanded. Teams like SMU and TCU and those teams, they went and joined the Mountain West Conference, and now everything's turned full circle again. Now
Yeah.
TCU's back in the Big 12, formerly the Southwest Big 8, and SMU's in a big conference again in the ACC. So things just things change a lot, man.
It is crazy how much like the conferences have changed. Oh, hey, what's up? You want to get up? Hey, this is our other little brother. Or you getting on? No. Okay, never mind. I think he's about to head out. It's our other little brother, Rocky. He's on our show sometimes.
Okay, cool.
I think he's headed out.
Well, I'm fixing to get off here
But
too myself, brother. But I appreciate you being on here, brother.
all right, man. Yeah, I wish I had a higher football IQ. I didn't really get into it until it was actually Baker Mayfield. Man, I never really watched a whole lot of football. My brother watched all the football, and I remember just being like, I want to play the PlayStation. This game's still on. I was like, I want to play some video games. And he's watching OU football. But yeah, it was Baker Mayfield that really got me into just watching football in general. And since then, I've been following everything, and I just love college football altogether. The college football is my favorite sport, period. All the teams, I just love all the
Yeah,
traditions,
guy was in our
the
chat earlier.
theatrics. It's the best.
I got in our multi chat earlier was talking about he's an Oklahoma fan. He's like, I'm just gonna quit watching Oklahoma and I'm gonna watch GB. I'm like, who the hell's GB? And he's like, Green Bay, man. I'm like, well, we don't watch NFL football hardly in here. I'll be honest with you, I don't really like NFL football that much. I don't like pro football. I don't like how the players act. But now the college players are starting to act like that. So I don't
I
know.
don't, yeah, I don't watch as much NFL. Man, I do actually. I think I lied a little bit ago. Yeah, I think it was actually Aaron Rodgers that got me more interested into football. It was a game where the Packers were going to lose, and I think they were playing in the snow, probably against the Vikings a long time ago. And I just see Aaron Rodgers like making these surgical passes, like
Well, we lost him. But anyway, that was Jimmy John's brother, Derek. He wanted to be on the show tonight. Like I said, he was a little nervous at first, I think, but once he got on here and got to talking, once you just get in here and you start talking football with us, anybody is willing to talk football. I mean, we're just like a bunch of good old boys sitting at the bar talking football, but I was fixing to get off here anyway. But anyway, if y'all don't mind, this podcast will go to live. This live stream will go to podcast after the show. You can go in there and like it and share it out to your friends. You can also join the Outlaw Posse like Fred Bagley has his badge, as many numerous others do. You want to join the Outlaw Posse, it's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. And that's just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaws. A little join button by the subscribe button. You can also do the big four, which are all free: like, share, comment, and subscribe. Get all your friends to subscribe. Let's get this party crunk. We're almost to 5,000 subscribers. And with that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.